This is Felix, our 5-year-old son. He is passionate of all kinds of animals. He loves to ride his bike and swim and play with his cars, and he just started horseback riding lessons. Felix was born with a hearing loss that limited what sounds he could hear. For a while, Felix used hearing aids that amplified sounds, making them louder for him to hear, and we communicated with him using both spoken language and signs. However, even with hearing aids, he found listening and speaking very challenging. When he was 5, Felix had a surgery and received a cochlear implant that helped him to hear sounds better. Rather than sending louder sounds into the ear, a cochlear implant works by turning sound into electrical signals and directly stimulating the hearing nerve to the brain. Felix's cochlear implant has several different parts. The part that fits behind Felix's ear is a microphone that captures sounds in the environment. Then the circular transmitter sends the sound information to a device that was surgically implanted into Felix's inner ear. This device gives Felix access to sounds by sending sound information into the brain. Felix is doing great with his implant. His cochlear implant gives him access to sounds, and he can do lots of things that he couldn't before, like hear from a greater distance, hear in the car, and hear things from the other room. However, it is still not the same as normal hearing. For example, here is what normal speech sounds like to a cochlear implant user.
From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ed Levy. Here's your San Francisco forecast. Variably cloudy, maybe a shower by morning, low 50s.
The same sound clip sounds like this with normal hearing.
From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ed Levy. Here's your San Francisco forecast. Variably cloudy, maybe a shower by morning, low 50s.
This is only a simulation of the cochlear implant's performance. Felix's brain can learn to make more sense of this than we can, just listening to it once. The more Felix's brain hears sounds and language from us, the better he will learn to understand. Even with his cochlear implant and his learning brain, Felix will always have to work hard to listen. For example, it's hard to tune out background noise and understand speech in noisy places. People with normal hearing tend to take this skill for granted because it's fairly easy with normal hearing. For Felix, it takes more effort because the sound information he receives is less clear, and he's had less than a year to practice this important listening skill. Here's what speech sounds like in a noisy environment with a cochlear implant.
Rain showers even isolated thunder possible for Wednesday night, lows dropping into the low 50s, and for Thursday, mostly cloudy.
And here is the same sound with normal hearing.
50s. Rain showers, even an isolated rumble of thunder possible for Wednesday night, lows dropping into the low 50s, and for Thursday, mostly cloudy.
As you can tell, cochlear implant users have to work a lot harder to understand speech in noisy places. There are several things that you can do to make listening easier for Felix. Number 1, get Felix's attention before telling him something. If he's not paying attention before you start talking, Felix is likely to miss out on a lot of information. This is because it takes him some extra time to locate and isolate sounds. For this reason, someone might already be done speaking by the time Felix realizes that he's missing out on an important message. Getting his attention first allows Felix to focus his energy on listening to your message. This will help Felix to be more successful at learning and following instructions. It's also helpful to start a sentence with the word Felix or please if you're asking him to do something. These are cue words for him that help him know that an important message is coming. Number 2, talk face to face. Felix will understand you best if he can see your face while you're speaking. Seeing your mouth move is helpful for understanding speech because it gives additional visual information about what sounds are being made. Felix has an easier time understanding you if you maintain eye contact with him while you're talking. If you ask Felix something and he doesn't respond right away, try to pause and wait before repeating your question. Felix is working really hard on developing listening skills. and this extra time can be really helpful in letting him process and sort through the sounds he's receiving. Number 3, provide a good listening environment. Felix will have the easiest time listening when he can see your face and there is limited background noise from things like fans, air conditioning, traffic, and playground noise. When possible, you can help by reducing noise in the room or finding a quieter part of a room to talk to Felix. You can also help by moving closer to Felix when you're talking to him. Doing these things will really help Felix to have an easier time understanding you and be successful. Thanks for listening.